No heavyweight of his generation had more ability. No heavyweight of his generation has been less stable. When he entered the ring, it looked like a bull was approaching a matador with steam coming out of his nostrils. He was a child prodigy. He had amazing strength. He had a tough determination and was not afraid of anyone. He believed that he was the king, that no one could defeat him. 25 years ago, on June 7, 1997, the 107 kilograms Nigerian-born heavyweight known as the President announced his candidacy by defeating David Tua in a fight that shattered CompuBox records, and 21 months later, Ibeabuchi confirmed that he was indeed the best and most promising heavyweight on the planet by knocking out Chris Bird. During his professional career, Ike fought 20 fights, winning each, and 15 of them by knockout. Unfortunately, he was a very scary person, both in and out of the ring. Today, I invite you to remember and talk about one of the very talented and unrealized fighters, Ike Ibeabuchi, who at one time could not only gain fame on the world Olympus, but also become great in the history of boxing, but became only a great loss for the heavyweight division. Click on the like if you hear about this monster for the first time, and I'm starting. Chapter 1. Beginning. Ike Ibeabuchi was born on February 2, 1973 in southern Nigeria in an incomplete family. His father died before he was born, and his mother was engaged in raising the boy. From early childhood, Ike dreamed of joining the military and becoming a military man. After a while, the young man entered the military academy, and it seemed that the dream was becoming a reality. But once, while watching TV, he stumbled upon the legendary fight of Mike Tyson against Buster Douglas, and at that hour his world seemed to be turned upside down. The young man wished to become a professional boxer. Putting all his early dreams on the line, he left the academy and took up boxing in earnest.
I was mesmerized by the fight. People were talking about Buster winning and I wanted to be in his place. I felt shivers all over my body. I didn't want to be in the military anymore.
The results in the amateur ring were not long in coming. A promising boy won victory after victory. But everyone around understood that this was not enough, and it was necessary to act. Chapter 2. Pro Career. In 1993, at the age of 19, Ike Ibeabuchi moved to the United States from his native Nigeria with his mother and settled in Dallas, Texas. He made his professional boxing debut just under 2 years later on October 13, 1994, at the age of 21, knocking out Ismael Garcia in the second round. For the next 2.5 years, he maintained a busy schedule, fighting about once every 2 months, often on promoter Cedric Kushner's Heavyweight Explosion show, where he could compete alongside the likes of Hazem Rahman, Lamont Brewster, and Larry Donald. Fighting inconspicuous opponents, Ibeabuchi achieved a record of 16-0, of which 12 wins by knockout. Chapter 3. Heavyweight Explosion. At the time, the Heavyweight Explosion show was a huge boost for heavyweight boxers, frequented by promoters looking for new talent and opponents for up-and-coming fighters. One of those fighters was our today's hero, who was spotted there by then HBO Sports Senior Vice President Lou DiBella. It was not in vain that DiBella turned his gaze to Ike, because he had impressive physical data. His height was 188 centimeters, and his weight was 107 kilograms, while he did not have a single gram of excess fat. He took an immediate interest in Ike and invited him to try his luck on the HBO boxing program Boxing After Dark, which usually featured bouts between well-known opponents, but were generally not championship or title bouts. In this show, Ike first faced his first serious test in the face of a Samoan boxer nicknamed the Terminator. Sacramento, USA, 1997. Ike Ibeabuchi versus David Tua. By the time Ike signed up for the fight against Tua, almost no one knew him. Commentators even had to practice pronouncing his name correctly. And his peer David Tua, on the contrary, was considered the favorite in this fight and the next great heavyweight. For this fight, he has already managed to achieve a record of 27-0, 23 wins of them by knockout, and scored 4 knockout wins on HBO. He was even called the next Mike Tyson. But even Mike Tyson has never had to fight in such a 12-round battle.
Take his gut combinations. Uppercut for Ibeabuchi.
Warren. Jim early in the fight.
Now Tua begins to...
From the very beginning, the Nigerian rushed to the attack, inflicting a record number of punches for the heavyweight division: 91 in the first round, 91 in the second, and 95 in the third. By the middle of the fight, he slowed down, and Tua became more active, but by the 7th round the fighters were equal in activity. As a result, a new record was set in this fight for the number of strikes delivered: 1730 in 12 rounds, while the previous one was set in the third fight of Muhammad Ali against Joe Frazier, and it was 1,591 strikes in 14 rounds. Ike himself landed 975 punches, the most that a single heavyweight has ever landed in 12 rounds. Such a result was appreciated by the judges, who unanimously awarded Ibeabuchi the victory, although there were those who did not agree with the judges. Thus, Ike Ibeabuchi from an unknown fighter has become one of the most sought after. But, unfortunately, after that he did not fight again for 13 months. Problems outside the ring, serious problems outside the ring, became a hindrance to the further rise of his career. His trainer Curtis Koch said, after the fight with Tua, Ike completely changed. We always knew that he had some problems even before the fight with Tua, but they were never so serious and always hushed up. But from that moment on, Ike began to think that he could do whatever he wanted. His biggest problem is that he simply ignores any rules. He wants to break the law. He drove a car at great speed. He could go to a barbershop to get a haircut and leave without paying. We went back to pay, but Ike didn't understand why. He needs help, but he and his family don't see it. He considers himself the best. There's something wrong with Ike.
He's the only fighter I've ever worked with who was truly mentally ill. There are fighters who behave like crazy teenagers. They are difficult to work with, but with Ibeabuchi it was different. He's mentally ill, and he's dangerous. People feel uncomfortable around him. But just because this guy was a money-making athlete, everyone turned a blind eye to his antics and worked to get him out of whatever mess he got himself into. It was wrong. I was categorically against it. I even wondered why we are promoting him. When they first tried to get Ike out of jail, I was like, Cedric, do you really want to be on ESPN one day being the promoter of a world heavyweight champion who killed someone? Because this guy is really capable of it.
And 2 months after the fight with Tua, this almost happened. He stole his girlfriend's teenage son and got into an accident with him at speed, as a result of which the boy was badly injured. Someone believes that he tried to commit suicide in this way, but no one knows for sure. After this incident, he served 3 months in prison. Marksville, USA, 1998. Ike Ibeabuchi vs. Tim Ray. 13 months after the fight with Tua, on July 9th, 1998, he returned to the ring again, where he met with the little-known American Tim Ray. The fight ended quickly. First Ike knocked down the opponent, and then knocked out before the end of the first round. Atlantic City, USA, 1998. Ike Ibeabuchi vs. Everton Davis. In less than 2 months, Ike had another fight against the Jamaican boxer Everton Davis. The opponent was not the strongest, but he became famous for the fact that against the same David Tua he was able to hold out the whole fight. Ibeabuchi was again able to knock down his opponent in the first round, but only managed to knock him out in the 9th. Tacoma, USA, 1999. Ike Ibeabuchi vs. Chris Bird. Now with a record of 19-0, with 14 wins by knockout, Ike signed up for a fight in March 1999 against then undefeated 26-0 heavyweight Chris Byrd, who was the heavyweight favorite for the fight. It is said that right before the fight, the president refused to enter the ring until a Snickers was brought to him, and someone had to run for a candy bar to a nearby store in order for the fight to take place. The beginning of the fight was like a classic chess tournament, and even a cut over the left eye did not prevent Byrd from continuing the fight with a full sense of an equal fight. Still, even when it seemed to him that he was coping with Ibeabuchi, the opponent used his size and wit in the ring more skillfully than Byrd could have expected.
Most heavyweights don't act very intelligently in the ring. They don't think, they just wave their fists. I have noticed this often. But here it is a completely different case. The way he moved, the way he used his knees, the way he ducked, the way he picked punches. Watching the fight in the record, I saw how correctly and judiciously his coach Curtis Cokes and his corner acted. It's all about strategy.
With 51 seconds left in the fifth round, Ibeabuchi landed the punch that sealed the fight. It was a knockdown, but Byrd managed to get up. Ike rushed to finish off the opponent, but despite the fact that Chris defended quite adequately 1 second before the gong, the referee stopped the fight. And if you look closely at the replay, you can safely say that it was a premature decision. It was Byrd's first defeat. After winning in the fifth round, Ibeabuchi stated, "I'm ready. Now I'm ready for the World Heavyweight title." It was a sensational victory and a reason for Ike's team to rejoice, at least for a while. Chapter 4. And everything went wrong again. Ibeabuchi began to receive interesting offers in terms of money, but he simply dismissed some for no reason, and in others he demanded a 10-fold increase in the fee, for example, from $1 million to $10 million US. Again, his crazy antics went into action: a scandal at the airport, a broken door of a police car. And in July 1999, in a Las Vegas hotel, he was arrested for raping a casino employee. As it turned out later, this was the second accusation of rape, but the first case was hushed up due to lack of sufficient evidence. As a result, the judge sent Ibeabuchi to prison without the right to post bail.
I just give up. Sometimes I can't sleep thinking about what great achievements we were on the verge of, that he had everything to become a world champion. And he just destroyed everything we worked so hard for.
According to the results of a medical examination, Ibeabuchi was found incapable of answering to the court, and he was placed on compulsory psychiatric treatment, after which he nevertheless appeared before the court, pleaded guilty in order to reduce the term, and was convicted. He was denied parole several times. At the end of his term, Ike was supposed to be deported back to Nigeria, but he managed to stay in the United States and was released in November 2015. He attempted to return to the ring on the undercard of Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley, but was arrested again, this time for violating probation. Will Ibeabuchi fight again? This question worries, probably, only himself and those who work with him. He is 49, hasn't fought in over 23 years, and is still in trouble with the law. At what point did it all go wrong? Perhaps everything was wrong from the very beginning. But no one wanted to notice this, neither he himself, burdened by the success that fell upon him, nor his relatives, blinded by warm feelings, nor the promoters, who saw in him only another source of significant income. Ike Ibeabuchi has become one of the most striking examples of how a talented person with every chance for a super successful career and a happy life can disappear, and now even devoted boxing fans rarely remember his name.
There are so many wasted talents in boxing. And this, it seems to me, is one of the brightest.
If you liked this video, then you will like these. Go ahead and enjoy watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and share with a friend. See you later.